Jay-Z accuser exposed in new damaging lawsuit that outs Buzbee as a liar. Jay-Z accuser exposed in new damaging lawsuit that outs Buzbee as a liar. All right, so let's get real, people. We are out. We are lawsuit out, okay? That means we can't take another lawsuit from Jay-Z and Diddy and Buzbee. The whole thing, it's just been going on too long. I really can't take it, okay? But this one's a little different. And since I am following the case, I have to talk about it, people. I have to talk about it. So in this lawsuit here, Jay-Z is suing the accuser, the one that she was 13-year-old at the time, and now she's 37 years old. She did an interview, I believe, with NBC, and the interview made no damn sense, okay? And I think it was like maybe a week or two ago, Tony Buzbee's law firm dropped the case completely. And so I really did think that's the end of it, okay? Can we start dropping other lawsuits or closing them up? Because it's just every day. It's nonstop. However, this one's different. Jay-Z is suing the accuser this time, and Buzbee, and another attorney who goes by the name of David Fortney. Now, listen, this lawsuit actually reads like a novel. I mean, it is very, very interesting. He's accusing all three of extortion. He said they conspired to falsely accuse him of SA as a part of an extortion attempt. And as a result, he claims he suffered over $20 million in losses, reputational harm, and emotional distress. He said it was a malicious prosecution, abuse of process, civil conspiracy, and defamation. And he's seeking compensatory and punitive damages, as well as legal costs. Now, before I start reading, know this. They're calling the accuser Jane Doe. Jay-Z is agreeing to keep her name anonymous. Now, the lawsuit goes on to say that Jane Doe's accusations were false, malicious, and strategically timed to cause maximum harm. In other words, they waited till the night that Jay-Z's daughter had a big premiere in the movie Mufasa, The Lion King, because they knew that everyone would be watching this event. It would be all over television. It was going to be a big thing. So that's what they waited for. And that's when they decided to drop the lawsuit. And their exact words in the lawsuit says that it was timed to cause maximum harm to Jay-Z. Then it goes on to say that Tony Buzbee, whose real name is Anthony Buzbee, and David Fortney allegedly conspired with the accuser to extort money from Jay-Z. They're saying that Jane Doe admitted to this to one of Jay-Z's representatives. She told the representative that Jay-Z never SA'd her and that Tony Buzbee and David pushed her to make these false claims. Despite knowing that the accusations were false, Buzbee still moved forward with the lawsuit. They said that the lawsuit was designed to pressure Jay-Z into a payout. So in other words, pay up or we're going to ruin your reputation. So right there is the defamation and extortion. But it gets even juicier than that. Now, the case is being tried in the state of Alabama because that's where the accuser resides. Now, they go on to say why Jane Doe would do such a thing. One, she was pushed by Tony Buzbee and the other attorney, David Fortney. They're also saying that Jane Doe herself was experiencing personal and financial hardships, including losing custody of her children and her parents filing a bankruptcy. And this is the reason why she hired Tony Buzbee, who had a history of high-profile lawsuits. It goes on to say that Jay-Z was sent a demand letter threatening to go public with allegations unless Jay-Z paid a settlement. When Jay-Z refused, the legal team escalated the situation by filing a lawsuit publicly naming Jay-Z, and later giving a televised interview to amplify the claims. They're also saying that Jane Doe had a credibility issue that Buzbee should have known from day one. They're saying that Jane Doe had a mental health history that should have been a red flag for Buzbee. She also had 3 prior sexual assault allegations, all of which were either dropped or dismissed. They would also say that NBC News conducted an independent investigation which discredited key parts of her story, such as the location of the alleged assault and the presence of certain celebrities. They're talking about Benji Madden from the singing group Good Charlotte. That's the name of it. She said that he was there, and he's saying he wasn't in town for any of this. They're saying all of these things gave David and Tony a huge reason not to move forward with this case. But they moved forward anyway because they were looking for money. So by them moving forward, this caused Jay-Z to file a lawsuit against Buzbee for extortion and intentional infliction of emotional distress. That lawsuit was filed on November 18th, 2024. Then on December 8th, 2024, they amended their complaint by actually saying Jay-Z's name. And by naming Jay-Z by name, Jay-Z attorneys are saying that that was fabricated and retaliatory. And it was retaliatory because he didn't want to pay them, so they upped the ante and listed him by name. And that still didn't stop them. On December 13th, this is when David Fortney sat by the Jane Doe's side and they did an interview with NBC. And in this interview, they repeated the false accusations. But this time, it was in front of a global audience. And according to the paperwork, that interview was specifically designed to make Jay-Z look bad. Then, in this lawsuit, they brought in the fact that Tony Buzbee was not licensed to practice law in the southern state of New York. But he filed lawsuits in that district anyway. They say on January 28th, 2025, the court ordered Buzbee to file proof of his admission by February 14th, 2025, or face potential consequences. However, a day before the deadline, Buzbee filed an application to practice law in the Southern District of New York. And that application was denied. And it was denied because he improperly filed over 20 lawsuits in that court without proper credentials. Now, this is not a good look in front of the new judge, and let me tell you why. Because it shows that Buzbee does things illegally despite knowing the truth. It's like you knew you weren't supposed to be filing any lawsuits in the Southern District. You knew, but you did it anyway. And same for the Jay-Z accuser lawsuit. You knew that something was wrong with this woman, but you followed through anyway. Because if she was vetted in the proper way, you would have known that she had mental health issues and that she was on very strong medications for that. She had accused others of sexually assaulting her. It's like when this new judge looks at this paperwork, they know that Tony Buzbee did this intentionally. There were so many red flags for him to stop. Just stop. Do not pursue this lawsuit. But instead of stopping, he kept upping the ante. And I don't know if that's a word I made up. That's a word that we use in my household, upping the ante. Now here comes I would say the most important part of this lawsuit. So I don't want to get it wrong. I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, realizing he was in legal trouble, Buzbee sent David Fortney to meet with Jane Doe in Alabama. Again, that was on February 13th, 2025, just weeks ago. And the paperwork reads, David Fortney falsely told Jane Doe that Jay-Z had made threats against her life, pressuring her to drop the lawsuit for her own safety. Now, Jay-Z's side are saying that this is a false allegation. He never threatened her. And they knew it, but they had to tell her something to get her to drop the lawsuit. It says verbatim, there was no actual lawsuit. Jay-Z's legal team argues this was a lie meant to protect Buzbee from court sanctions. Now, do you guys realize how serious that is? They're saying that Buzbee's a liar. He just made this whole thing up. Then when he realized he was going to get in trouble, he did the despicable thing, lied to the witness, lied to the accuser to get her to drop the lawsuit. That is a serious ethics violation of the law, and it can get you disbarred. So they threatened her on the 13th or lie to her on the 13th. What happens the following day? She voluntarily dismissed the case with prejudice, meaning that she could never refile it. The paperwork goes on to say the dismissal happened quietly and without a settlement, reinforcing Jay-Z's claim that the allegations were fabricated for extortion. Now, this lawsuit is hot fire, okay? Because if Jay-Z can prove everything that he said in these court documents, Tony Buzbee and David Fortney and the Buzbee law firm, well, they would be in a lot of trouble. Let me put it that way. So lots going on in that case. I will keep you updated. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Until next time, bye for now.